Welcome back to the HUD, everyone. I'm Zacharoni, and this feels out of place in a season to be jolly. But hey, Christmas is on the 25th, so it's still technically the nightmare before Christmas, really? Heh. Anyway, when the phrase survival horror comes in, the first thing comes to mind is Resident Evil, a franchise that everyone, including my friend who I'll not mention for protection, can't stop talking about. Now, I know that the sequel had been given a modern makeover this year, but I wanted to start from scratch and check out the first game in the series that started it all, which also got a makeover as well. And yeah, I should have started off with the original version on the PS1, but I just wanted to play one game that is easy to get right now, and I got this on PS Plus a while ago. So let's talk about it, shall we? So Resident Evil involved a police group known as Stats who are investigating an abandoned mansion where, spoiler alert, the residents are evil living corpses that like eating anything that is not cow, pig or lamb. Oh, and fruit and vegetables because they're not vegetarians as well. The story is simple and the scares are well put together that had me jumping around every corner. But to be honest though, I already know who's the villain of the game is, and that's probably thanks to a bunch of RE5 and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 trailers. But while I know who the villain is, it doesn't mean that I know the layout of the game, and that's the enjoyable part, figuring out how to approach the game to get your character out alive, because bullets are limited, resulting in me avoiding enemies for some of the bigger threats, and inventory slots are, well, limited as well, involving me going back and forth to item boxes because I didn't have a particular item to proceed. But the one element that nearly got me out of the game completely is the controls. Because before we had survival horror games that present itself in either first or third person, we had ones that had the camera in awkward positions and the characters moved like a tank, where the up D-pad is used to move in the direction where the character is facing. This is probably the reason why Mikami reinvented the series with RE4, because it can be frustrating when you are trying to get your character to run in the right direction, and using weapons can be irritating at times, especially when you are up against a giant snake boss. But luckily, it did have a lock-on feature when aiming, and I learned from Storgero that if I hold down the up D-pad while aiming, I can go for a headshot, which added a little bit of timing to the combat. Well, most of the time because I can't tell if I'm gonna hit it or not. Plus, the puzzles are well put together, involving me looking at an item in the inventory to find a hidden secret, merging two items together to solve a particular problem, and tinkering with the environment to unlock a secret passageway. As for the final slice, well, the final boss was pretty easy because I was saving my grenade launcher, but then it was all about finishing it off before time runs out, which was one of the most intense moments in the game. Now, I only played Jill Valentine on my first playthrough, and what I heard from Storgero is that Chris Redfield's campaign is harder than Jill's, but I got more games to play right now, so I'll play Chris's campaign in my old time later. So in conclusion, Resident Evil HD lived up to its name for being the scariest game ever made, but as time goes by, the controls are outdated, and it's not quite as scary as other titles that I played like Dead Space and Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Now that whole spooky mansion experience is over, I decided to take a long vacation with underdog Luigi, who definitely needed one after escaping from Castlevania. Well, barely alive of course. So Luigi's Mansion 3 sees Luigi with Mario, Peach, Fritos, and Polsapup to a shiny hotel where they are greeted by the owner, Helen Gravely. But then it turns into a dark and foggy nightmare, which is all organized by King Boo, who wants one thing in mind: revenge, while Haley will do what she can to win King Boo's heart, no matter what the cost. The story is straightforward and humorous too, but I'm disappointed that some of the personality that Luigi previously had from the last game is gone. What do I mean? Well, in the second game, Luigi would often hum to the music while exploring the mansion, but in this one, well, they just took it out of him entirely. And while he was on the elevator, his reflection was shown in the mirror, making me think, if I made Luigi look at the mirror, he'll start organizing himself, right? But no. He just stand there like there was no effort in developing him a bit more. But enough about presentation, what about the gameplay? Well, it's still the tried and true sucking up ghosts, but with new additions like the plunger to remove shields, a quick burst that launches him up in the air while pushing back ghosts that surrounded him for crowd control, and Luigi, which Luigi can summon to get through barred doors and to solve puzzles that require cooperation, which are neat new additions to Luigi's arsenal. However, the slam is my least favorite ability, where Luigi can slam ghosts in any direction that can affect other ghosts that come into contact, which can be humorous, but it didn't feel that satisfying. Also, I'm disappointed that the money I collected in the game is only used to get trackers for gems and booze and golden bones for revival. I mean, why didn't the professor and Nintendo give the poster guts upgrades like shortening the countdown number or increasing the range of sucking up ghosts? But I do like the structure where you are collecting elevator button to proceed through the story, and the bosses were fun to take down, like a ghost dressed as a kaiju in a movie set. As for the final slice, well, it started off exciting and humorous because it was fleshing out the personality with Luigi and another character I won't spoil, but the final boss was a bit of a letdown where it was not as creative as the second one. As for the multiplayer modes, well, I haven't tried the local multiplayer Scream Park a lot, but with only 3 modes with their own map, it might be hard to get back into. But I did enjoy the Screen Scraper co-op mode where the maps and objectives change, so I might come back to it in the future if I feel like it. Despite having less personality and the slam move is pretty weak, I still enjoyed Luigi's Mansion 3, but not as much as the second game. In fact, I haven't played the first game. Perhaps that will be a future leftover for another time. And with that, that's your second helpings of Resident Evil HD and Luigi's Mansion 3. I hope you appreciate my opinions, and if you like what you see, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. But until then, I'm Zacharoni. Enjoy your pizza, and I'll see you next time.